When struggle first enters your life, it rarely knocks politely. It comes like a storm, uninvited, rearranging everything you thought was stable. The job you counted on vanishes. The relationship you trusted collapses. The plan you built with so much certainty begins to crumble in your hands. And in those moments, it feels like the universe has turned against you. You ask yourself, why me? Why now? What did I do to deserve this? But here's the truth most people never learn. Struggle is not a punishment. It is a crucible, a sacred fire that burns away what no longer belongs to you. It narrows your world not to trap you, but to reveal to you what truly matters. When options disappear and distractions are stripped away, you begin to see with painful clarity the truth you once avoided. That clarity, though uncomfortable, is the first gift of the crucible. Think about it. When everything is going smoothly, when comfort wraps you in its soft blanket, do you grow? Do you stretch? No, you stay still. You repeat yesterday again and again, calling it a life. But when life pushes you into a corner, when it takes away the easy path, you are forced to confront yourself, your limits, your choices, your fears. And it is in that confrontation that transformation begins. Struggle is the teacher no one asks for but everyone needs. It speaks in a language of pressure and persistence. It whispers through long nights when sleep will not come, through days when your chest feels heavy with doubt. And yet if you lean in and listen, you will hear something deeper. You will hear a question. What is this moment trying to make of me? Every trial you endure is an invitation. It is the universe handing you raw material and asking, will you forge this into strength or will you let it rust into regret? Those who understand this shift, those who stop asking why me, and start asking what now, they are the ones who emerge from the crucible not smaller but greater. Look back on your own life. The moments that shaped you, the moments that defined your character, were they easy? Or were they carved out of difficulty? You survived heartbreak and learned resilience. You lost and discovered humility. You failed and unearthed the courage to try again. These are not accidents. These are the fingerprints of the crucible on your soul. So do not despise the struggle you are in now. Do not curse the fire that burns. It is purifying you, reshaping you, preparing you. And though it feels unbearable, remember this. Gold is never made without fire. Diamonds are never formed without pressure. And a soul never reaches its highest form without struggle. The crucible is not here to destroy you. It is here to reveal you. When pain arrives, our first instinct is to resist it, to label it unfair, to curse it as an interruption to the life we wanted. We see it as an enemy standing in our way. But what if pain is not an interruption? What if it is an initiation? What if what you call a setback is actually the training ground for the very future you've been praying for? Think about it. No soldier is sent into battle without first enduring the fire of training. No athlete steps into the arena without sweating through months of practice. Why then do we expect life to hand us victory without preparation? Your pain is not random. It is not meaningless. It is preparation for the very life you say you want. The problem is, most people misinterpret the lesson. When pain comes, they see it as rejection, not redirection. They see it as failure, not formation. And because of this, they give up right before the upgrade arrives. They walk away from the very pressure that was shaping them into who they needed to become. But you are different. You are listening now because something inside of you knows that this season has purpose. You know that what feels like breaking is actually building. The cracks in your life are not signs of collapse. They are the spaces where light gets in. Reframing pain is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about shifting your lens from this is the end to this is the beginning. From I am being punished to I am being prepared. That small shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, instead of drowning in despair, you begin to search for the lesson. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? And when you ask better questions, life gives you better answers. Maybe your heartbreak is teaching you self-respect. Maybe your financial struggle is teaching you discipline. Maybe your failure is teaching you resilience. Every pain carries within it a curriculum. The ones who rise are the ones who study it. So how do you receive the upgrade? First, you stop running. You stop fighting the lesson. You sit with it. You breathe through it. You write it down. You ask yourself, what am I being prepared for? What skill is this season forcing me to build? Second, you begin to act as if the lesson is already shaping you. You don't wait until the storm passes to live differently. You live differently in the middle of the storm, because it is in the storm that your strength is forged. Third, you trust that preparation is proof of destiny. Life would not prepare you if it had nothing prepared for you. The very fact that you are being refined means something greater is on its way. So today, instead of resisting, receive. Instead of cursing your pain, reframe it. The universe is not punishing you. It is preparing you. And when you begin to see pain as preparation, you don't just survive the storm. You emerge from it stronger, clearer, and ready to rise. There comes a moment in every transformation when you must face the truth. You cannot carry the old life into the new one. You cannot step into the future while dragging the weight of yesterday. And yet, this is where most people get stuck. They want the upgrade, but they cling to the cage. They want freedom, but they hold on tightly to the very bars that confine them. Comfort is deceptive. It feels safe, it feels familiar, but what it really does is slowly suffocate your potential. Think about it. The habits that numb you, the routines that keep you stagnant, the relationships that drain you but feel too familiar to release. They are like golden chains. They shine, they glimmer, they look harmless, but they bind you just the same. Letting go is not easy. It feels like tearing away a piece of yourself. That's why so many never do it. They'd rather stay in a life that is good enough than risk the unknown in pursuit of greatness. But hear me, good enough is the enemy of extraordinary. Comfort zones may keep you safe, but they also keep you small. And small living was never meant for you. Ask yourself right now, what are the comforts that have become cages in your life? Is it the endless scrolling that numbs your spirit? The job that pays the bills but starves your soul? The relationship that keeps you busy but never helps you grow? Write them down, name them. Because what you can name, you can change. And here's the truth. Letting go does not mean you lose. It means you create space. Space for new habits. Space for new opportunities. Space for the version of yourself that you have not yet met, but desperately need to become. You cannot grasp what is waiting ahead if both hands are still clinging to what's behind you. Think about a snake. It does not grow by adding layers to its skin. It grows by shedding. It does not fight the old skin, and it releases it. That is what life is asking of you, to shed, to let go of what no longer serves you so that you can expand into the future that does. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. Yes, it will feel uncertain. But what feels uncertain at first becomes liberating over time. The first step away from the cage is terrifying, but it is also the step that begins your flight. So here is the challenge. Choose one comfort to release this week. Just one. Make it practical, make it real. Replace it with something that nourishes you, something that builds you. Each release is a declaration to the universe, I am ready. I am not who I was. I am stepping forward. Letting go is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the sacred act of clearing the path so the new self can finally arrive. Your wings are waiting, but they cannot unfold until you release the weight of the cage. There comes a moment when the heart must do more than dream, more than whisper, more than long. It must design its ascent, for no soul rises by accident. A quantum upgrade does not arrive as a gift dropped from the sky. It is built brick by brick, choice by choice, through the architecture of intent. Intent is the seed, but structure is the soil that holds it. Without design, even the most radiant dream drifts into the fog of someday. But when the dream is given form, when it is written, shaped, protected, and honored, it becomes inevitable. What was once a hope transforms into a living blueprint for the future. Ask yourself, what do I intend to create with this one life? Not the vague wishes that pass through idle thought, but the fire that will not leave you. Speak it, write it, shape it until it becomes a vision you can stand inside of. That is the beginning of design. To move from abstraction into clarity, from longing into direction. But a vision alone is not enough. The climb must have a rhythm, a scaffolding, a structure that holds you when your faith falters. Just as an architect sketches the pillars before raising a cathedral, you too must place the beams of your becoming. When will you rise each day? What rituals will anchor you? What companions will walk beside you? These are not small questions. They are the very stones of your ascent. And know this, intent without daily devotion is only a sigh in the wind. Your life is shaped not by the enormity of your wish, but by the consistency of your alignment. A single action repeated has more power than 1,000 dreams left unattended. To design your ascent is to decide that every hour has meaning, every step has direction, every breath carries the whisper of where you are going. The architecture of intent does not confine you. It liberates you, for when the path is drawn, when the ascent is sketched into your days, you are freed from the prison of indecision. No longer are you swayed by every distraction, every passing temptation. You know where you are headed. And even when storms rise, the blueprint remains. Design your ascent as if eternity is watching. Build with courage, with clarity, with reverence. Do not wait for the perfect moment, for there is none. The perfect moment is the one you claim now, the line you draw today, the foundation you lay this very breath. And when doubt creeps in, as it will, return to the architecture you created. Let it remind you that your life is no accident. You are the builder. You are the designer. And every detail of your intent is already whispering to the universe. This life will rise. This life will not be wasted. Great fires are not born in a single spark. They are fed by the steady hand, the faithful breath, the willingness to tend the flame when it is still small and fragile. Transformation does not happen in the explosion of one grand act, but in the quiet repetition of tiny, almost invisible choices that over time ignite into something unstoppable. We live in a world that glorifies the dramatic, the overnight success, the sudden breakthrough, the instant change. But life in its truest form does not move that way. It whispers, it compounds, it rewards the faithful tending of small fires. A single disciplined act, done not once but daily, reshapes not only the course of your day but the destiny of your years. Think of a sculptor. The masterpiece does not emerge from one mighty blow, but from 1,000 gentle strikes, each one guided by intention. So it is with your life. Every choice is a chisel, every action a carving. The morning you rise early to honor your vision, the time you choose to learn instead of scroll, the words you speak when no one is listening. These are the strokes that shape the statue of your becoming. The power of habits lies not in their size, but in their consistency. One flame tended faithfully grows. One small ritual, repeated daily, transforms the mind, strengthens the will, purifies the heart. Habits are proof that greatness is not a matter of chance, but of practice. You do not stumble into excellence. You rehearse it until it becomes who you are. And though the fire may seem insignificant at first, though it may warm only your hands in the cold of the night, do not despise its smallness. For small fires spread. The flame of waking early ignites the flame of discipline. The flame of gratitude ignites the flame of joy. The flame of learning ignites the flame of mastery. Soon what began as a spark becomes a blaze that lights your entire path. Yet here is the truth. These small fires require devotion. It is easy to dream, easy to speak of change, but it is the daily tending, the showing up even when the heart resists, that separates those who rise from those who remain. You must be willing to place twigs upon the fire each day, to fan it with patience, to shield it when the winds of doubt try to smother it. Do not wait for the perfect habit, the flawless routine. Begin where you are with what you have in the smallest way you can. A single page read, a single moment of silence, a single note of gratitude. Do this and do it again, until the habit ceases to be something you practice and becomes something you embody. For in the end, greatness is nothing more than small faithfulness multiplied by time. The life you long for is not hidden in some distant mountain. It is already here, waiting to be lit, waiting to be fed, waiting for you to tend the small fire that will one day become the beacon guiding you home. There is a voice within you that does not shout. It does not argue. It does not fight for attention the way fear does, the way doubt does, the way the world does. It speaks softly like a whisper carried on the wind. It is the counsel of your soul, or the language of intuition. And though it is quiet, it holds the map to your ascent. The world around you is loud. Screens pull at your eyes, opinions pull at your mind, urgency pulls at your time. You are taught to run, to chase, to keep up with noise that never ends. But the quantum upgrade does not live in the clamor. It lives in the stillness you rarely grant yourself. It waits for the moment when you pause long enough to listen. Intuition is not irrational. It is the wisdom of 1,000 experiences stored in the body, felt before it is thought. It is the pulse you sense when a room feels wrong, the calm you feel when a choice feels right even before the evidence appears. It is the ancient compass that whispers this way, not that way. Ignore it and you drift. Follow it, and your path becomes strangely illuminated as though unseen hands have cleared the way. But to hear it, you must quiet the noise. That is the great challenge of our time, to step away from constant distraction and give space for your inner counsel to speak. This means carving out silence each day, whether in the hush of dawn in a walk beneath the open sky, or in the simple practice of breathing deeply and listening within. In these spaces, the whisper grows louder, not because it changes, but because you finally choose to hear. And when it speaks, it does not give you the whole map, it gives you the next step. That is the mystery of intuition. It never overwhelms you with the journey. It simply lights the stone beneath your foot. The temptation is to doubt it, to demand proof before you move. But the upgrade demands faith. Not blind faith, but faith born of listening, moving, and discovering that the whisper was right all along. To live guided by intuition is not to abandon logic. It is to let logic and intuition dance. Logic charts the facts, intuition feels the direction. Logic builds the bridge, intuition tells you which river to cross. Together they create a life both grounded and guided. So when the next choice comes, and it will, do not rush. Breathe. Ask yourself, what does my inner counsel say? Not the fear, not the echo of other people's opinions, not the old voice of limitation, but that quiet, steady truth that lives in your chest. Honor it, follow it. Let it speak through your decisions, your words, your movements. For the universe has been speaking to you all along, not through thunder, not through fire, but through the softest language of all, the whisper within. Listen to it, and you will not only navigate your upgrade, you will walk in harmony with the very rhythm of life itself. No one climbs alone. The path of transformation is steep, the nights are cold, and the winds will try to turn you back. In those moments, your strength alone may not be enough, but the right companions, those who walk beside you, challenge you, stretch you, can turn impossibility into ascent. Growth is not merely personal, it is profoundly social. Who you allow near you will determine how high you rise. The truth is, comfort attracts company, but not the kind that propels you forward. Many will choose to sit around the fires of ease, telling stories of what might have been, soothing themselves with the language of limitation. Stay there long enough, and their comfort will become your prison. But seek out the brotherhood of discomfort, the ones who are not afraid to climb, the ones who choose stretch over stagnation, and you will find a tribe that pulls you higher than you thought possible. Mentors are the first companions to seek. A mentor is not someone who flatters you, but someone who tells you the truth you do not want to hear. They see further because they have walked further, and their words can spare you years of wandering in circles, but do not expect them to carry you. A true mentor will hand you tools, not finished houses. They will demand that you build with your own hands. And in that demand, you will discover strength you didn't know you had. Friends are the second kind of companions. Not friends who merely entertain you, but friends who ignite you. Friends who call out your excuses, who refuse to let you shrink, who remind you of your summit when you are tempted to settle in the valley. These are the ones who will hold the rope when you climb, and will not let you fall asleep at the edge of greatness. If your circle does not inspire you, it imprisons you. Choose wisely, and yes, even love plays its role. A partner who sees not only who you are, but who you are becoming, can become the fiercest companion of all. True love does not coddle. It challenges. It does not seek to keep you small so you remain safe. It dares you to expand, to risk, to rise. A lover aligned with your growth becomes both sanctuary and spark, both anchor and fire. But remember this: finding such companions requires courage. You must be willing to release relationships that hold you back. You must step into circles that intimidate you, because only those who make you slightly uncomfortable can help you stretch into the next version of yourself. Discomfort is the language of growth, and the brotherhood of discomfort is the tribe that speaks it fluently. So look around you. Who walks beside you? Do they keep you small, or do they call you higher? Your ascent is not only written by your will, but by the company you keep. Choose those who fan your flame, who sharpen your edge, who stand beside you in the storm. For in their presence, you will discover that the climb, though difficult, is never lonely, and the summit, though high, is always within reach. Every transformation has its threshold. A line that once crossed leaves you forever changed. It is the moment when the old self takes its final breath and the new self opens its eyes for the first time. And though the journey may begin in thought, in practice, in small faithful fires, there comes a day when it must become real. That day is the threshold. Thresholds are not gentle. They demand, they shake, they test. They appear as moments where you must leave behind what once defined you, even if it feels like leaving a piece of your soul. The familiar whispers, "Stay, it is safe here." But the unknown beckons. Step forward, your life is waiting. The threshold is the gate between who you were and who you are meant to be. You will know you are near it because everything inside you will resist. Fear will rise like a storm. Doubt will speak louder than ever. Your body will ache to retreat to the comfort of the old. This resistance is proof. You do not feel such weight at the edge of small decisions. Only at the doorway of transformation does fear fight with such ferocity. Because crossing the threshold means death to the old self, and death never comes without struggle. To prepare for the threshold, you must remember every lesson that brought you here. The habits you built, the companions you found, the whispers of intuition, the design of your ascent. All of it was training for this moment. The threshold is not crossed by chance. It is crossed because you have been quietly, faithfully preparing for it all along. And when it comes, you cannot tiptoe. You cannot hover with one foot in the old world and one in the new. You must step fully, decisively, completely. You must close the door behind you and refuse to look back. For if you look back too long, the past will reclaim you. But if you walk forward, even trembling, you give birth to the version of yourself you once only imagined. Honor the threshold. Mark it, remember it. For the rest of your life, you will point back to this crossing and say, that was the day everything changed. Maybe it was the day you said yes to a calling. Maybe it was the day you walked away from what was killing your spirit. Maybe it was the day you chose courage over fear. Whatever it was, it is the sacred line where possibility became reality. And here is the paradox. The threshold is terrifying only until you cross it. Once you are on the other side, you wonder why you clung so tightly to what you left behind. You realize the death of the old self was not an ending at all. It was a birth. So when the moment arrives, and it will, do not delay. Step forward, step boldly, step into the unknown with the faith that your wings will appear in the air itself. For it is only in crossing the threshold that life stops being a dream and becomes your living truth. When the ascent is complete, when the threshold is crossed, when the new self stands awake and alive, the journey does not end. Transformation is never only for you. To receive an upgrade is to inherit a responsibility, to return, to offer, to carry your light back into the world. The mountain changes you, yes, but its purpose is greater than your own elevation. What you gained in silence and struggle and solitude must now be poured into the lives of others. The fire you tended so carefully is not meant to remain hidden in your chest. It is meant to burn in your words, your actions, your service. To climb is to rise. To return is to illuminate. The mistake many make is to believe their growth is a private victory. But growth kept selfishly decays. It hardens into pride, it calcifies into distance. True transformation blossoms only when it becomes a gift. When the strength you found becomes the hand that lifts another. When the wisdom you earned becomes a torch that guides someone lost in the dark. When the love you cultivated within yourself becomes a sanctuary for others who have forgotten their worth. And the offering is not grand speeches or dramatic gestures alone. Sometimes it is in the smallest acts, the way you listen, the way you encourage, the way your presence calms storms in another soul. Your life becomes the sermon. Your walk becomes the invitation. You do not need to demand that others rise. Your rising shows them that they can. But remember this: to return does not mean to descend into the smallness you left behind. It means to carry your light into the very places where smallness rules. It means to enter the world not as a conqueror, but as a servant. Not to boast of your summit, but to guide others toward their own. For transformation without humility is incomplete. The true measure of your ascent is not how high you stood, but how deeply you stooped to lift another. You are now the lighthouse. Ships battered by storms will look to you not for perfection, but for direction. And when they see your light, steady, humble, unwavering, they will know that survival is possible, that arrival is possible, that they too can find shore. This is the obligation of the upgraded self, to live in such a way that others feel less alone, less lost, less defeated. So return, not as the same soul who once left, but as a bearer of gifts. Return with wisdom in your hands, with compassion in your eyes, with clarity in your voice. Return not to claim glory, but to plant seeds. For the greatest honor of rising is not in standing above, but in bending down with light so that others may rise beside you. Your journey was never yours alone. It was always meant to ripple outward, to echo into lives you may never meet, to become a legacy of guidance. This is the final ascent, not into solitude, but into service. For only when you return and offer, does your transformation become complete.